Hi, welcome to part 2, Introduction to Using HTML5. In this video, we are going to look at the following topics: how you use the headings and paragraph tags, picture and attribute tags, using hyperlinks, external and internal, and then using colors. So let's get started. Right, the first thing I'm going to do is go into Notepad++. This will be the main text editor I use for all these videos, as explained in the first video, rather than using TextEdit, which is for the Mac users. Now, on my web page and my GitHub profile, you'll be able to take a copy of the basic HTML template tags. And this is simply looks like this. I'm going to paste a copy of this here into Notepad, and you'll see the basic layout for any web page with the basic tags. You usually have this doc type, HTML, and then you have your head tags, title tag, H1 tag, which is for your heading, and paragraph tag, which is P, and then it's closed with the body and HTML. Now you'll notice, first of all, when I copied this, I've not saved this at all. So remember, you need to save the file first. So it's simply File, Save As, and then you need to make sure you save this as a web page. So you put hypertext markup language, and you'll notice that I'm actually saving this into a folder, a subdirectory. You can, maybe a good habit is to make a folder already on your desktop. You can call this web page, and then you just save all your different web page work, or your pages or your files into that one folder. So I'm going to call this again home page, and then press save. Now, as soon as you do this, you'll see there's a slight change in the way it looks, the code. You'll now see that the tags, some of these element tags have now changed into a blue color. Okay, and then if I want to run this and actually see what the page looks like at the moment, I simply go onto the run option on the top toolbar, and I select launch in one of the browsers. So let's launch this in Google Chrome. Okay, you'll see it's got the first paragraph tag, the first heading, and the page title tag on the top part. So if I go back to here, let's now look at changing some of this. Now, the first title tag here, okay, what this actually does is change the browser name. So I'm going just to put intro to HTML, and that will change the name on top of the browser. The next one is this heading tag, and what this effectively is the heading you saw when we opened the page. So this was the first heading. Okay, I'm going to copy this and show you more or less how this works. So I'm going to copy the whole tag itself, or just write a new one. Okay, so but this time I'm going to put H2 instead. Okay, and this time I'm going to put my heading, I'll put this as my second heading. Okay, and then I will close the tag. Remember, when you close the tag, you always put /H2. Okay, and notice as I use the different tags, it actually comes up with suggestions of the tags, which makes it quicker for you to select. So this is, again, one of the nice things about using this Notepad++. Okay, now with the heading tags, you've actually got 6 different numbers you can use from H1 to H6, and the idea is that when you run these, it affects the size of the heading. So let's see what this does. I'm just going to quickly save this and go back to my Google Chrome browser and refresh. Okay, and you'll see that the headings get smaller and smaller. I can also see a small spelling error here. Okay, so I can easily go back to my browser and change this in here, and then you get the idea. So basically, you can have reduced the size of the headings. With the paragraph tag, you should try to use this when you want to write bigger things than headings. In other words, paragraphs of text. So if I go to my web page, let's copy some text on here. Okay, I'm going to copy this text in the first paragraph. Okay, and then go back to my text editor. and delete the paragraph part here, and then paste. Just need to make sure there's a space. Okay, and you can see it actually pastes the whole text across the whole page, which is not great. Okay, but the idea is, okay, it's been placed between the paragraph tag. And obviously you need to make sure that that tag has been closed at the end of the paragraph. Now, as I've copied this in, I just have to assume, unless I go right to the end of the paragraph, okay, you can see, hopefully see it closes here with this P/P tag. Okay, so let's now just save this and then rerun in the browser, and we'll see what happens. Okay, you can now see I've got my paragraph here, but notice it just literally puts the text as it's supposed to look. It's basically what you see, what you get. There's no hyperlinks or anything in here right yet, but that's something now we're going to take a look at, how to add hyperlinks. Now, if we go back to Notepad and we go back to the code, okay, what I'm now going to do is use something called an attribute. And effectively an attribute is when we have an element tag, but it just contains more information. And in this particular attribute, this will be the one that creates a hyperlink. So let's place this underneath the second heading tag here, H2. And I'm going to paste the relevant tag. And in this attribute tag, we're using the href tag. The web page link itself is the link that I want it to link to from this page, and I've put my web page link. Okay, notice that when I put the link, I put the exact URL address. I always like to put the HTTPS, okay, and make sure that I've got this in. A good tip is to actually go onto the web page and always find the link first, and then once you've clicked the link, then to copy it from the URL bar, okay, and then paste that into your tag on Notepad. Okay, so you paste it here. You also need to make sure you put this between the quotations. Okay, this is part of the where the web page address needs to go in, and then this part here, you'll see this is the text that will appear on the web page itself, and this is what people will see. So you can see here I've got Darren's web page. Let's just put an S. Okay, and this is what people will see. So let's now take a look and see what this does. So I'll simply press save, and then I'll go back to my browser. Okay, and then I'll just refresh the screen, and then you'll now see I've got the name of the tag, which was corresponding to this part. People don't obviously see the name because that's hidden. Okay, but when they click on side here, you can see this is now a hyperlink. Put the cursor over the top. When I press this, it will go straight to my web page. Okay, so that's what we mean by using a hyperlink attribute tag, which is part of a element tag. Now, another useful attribute tag is one that we use for pictures. Okay, so I'm going to just make an extra space on my page here. Okay, and put that tag, and that's attribute tag is called src. And effectively what this does, you can use this to put pictures onto your web page. But before you do that, you must always make sure you've got the picture saved somewhere on your computer. Ideally, try to put this into the folder which you created earlier where you put your web page files. So in this case, I've actually made a folder, okay, and I've got a picture called Darren, okay, and this picture is a JPG file, which is basically JPEG. It's quite common these days that people use PNG files, which stands for Portable Network Graphic, but it's always worth checking what type of picture format this is, because this has to go into the name with when you code this on the image tag. Okay, so this is my picture here, Darren, and it's JPEG. Okay, so let's just close that, and then you can see you start the tag of here, img src, and then you put the exact name of the picture that is saved as. So this, in this case, this was saved as Darren, and I put .jpg. If this was a PNG file, I would simply just put PNG. If you make a mistake with the format type, sometimes this can happen where the person puts the name of the picture, but they haven't got the format on there correctly. It may not find the picture. Okay, so you have to double check that's the picture. Another common mistake is that the picture may not be within the same folder. It might be sitting somewhere else on the computer. So there are two things I tend to notice when people tend to use this tag for creating pictures, this attribute tag. So let's see what happens. Let's just quickly save this. Okay, and then let's go to Chrome, refresh. Okay, you'll see it's coming up like this. Okay, there's some kind of error. Let's just see what I've done. It's saying Darren, exactly, I've not changed it. Okay, obviously it's JPG, so I shouldn't have changed that then. Press save, and now refresh, and it should load on my screen. There you go. Unfortunately, you can see when I do load this picture, it will load the original size of the picture, and this picture is obviously quite a large picture, so it literally takes up the whole or more or less the whole space of the page. So what I'm going to have to do is actually do a bit of extra instructions here on this tag and add some kind of pixel width and height. And this is how you would basically do this part. So first thing you do is you go to your picture tag, and you just remove this forward facing arrow, and then you type the following. So you type the width and then the height, and you'll notice I've got numbers inside the width and height. Now these numbers, they correspond to the number of pixels, and if you're not too sure the effect on this picture or how it has on your picture, then you may need to mess around with these. I usually tend to put between 500 for the height and then 600, depending on how big or what size you want the picture. Okay, but that's something you can kind of just quickly change within the code and see what effect it has. You then also need to make sure that this forward facing arrow, it's deleted from here. Okay, so let's now save this. Okay, and see what this does. Okay, so that's my original picture. You can see it took up most of the page. Let's refresh. Okay, and now you can see the picture is resized slightly. Okay, you'll also notice that when we look towards the bottom here, that the picture is affecting some of my text. A simple solution for this, which is quite a handy tag to have, is the BR tag. Okay, so if you use the BR tag, this effectively just makes a separate line, and you can put as many as you want. Let's just do a couple of these and then see what happens. Okay, and then save, then refresh on Google. Okay, you can now see I've moved the text down. Okay, and then the link itself, you can see I've still got my link saying Darren's web page. Okay, if we go back up the top here, I obviously need to add one of those BR links here as well, and that will then move the picture down. Let's see what happens. Okay, well, it's put the link on top, which just looks much nicer. Maybe I still want to have like a space after that, so I'd put 2 BR links, and you can now see my text underneath the picture has moved down. So that's another attribute which is a quite useful one to use. What I'm going to do now is when I first showed you this href attributes, this was for doing a hyperlink, but this is a hyperlink which is external. What I want to do now is actually show you like an internal hyperlink. If you was to have like another page on your website, if you wanted to basically be able to link to that page. So the first thing we need to actually do is make that second page. Now I've got this as home page. Okay, I'm going to, I've already got like another page here. Okay, I'm going to save, I've called this page 3. So it's exactly the same process as before. Okay, and then I go to the page where I want this hyperlink. Okay, so let's just make another BR tag and put this underneath. And then enter. And now the next step is to put the code. Okay, so I'm going to use the same attribute as I did before. okay, href, but this time I'm going to put the name of the page that I've saved as page3.html. Now remember, if you are going to have another page that you want this to link to, that page, I recommend that you have that page inside the same folder. Okay, so you can see here I've got this page called page3, and this is .html, and this page simply looks like this. This is the code for that page. So I'm going to place this here. You can see I've now put page3.html. The link is just going to be simply called page3. Okay, and then because this is near my picture tag, what I'm going to do is also put this BR tag one here just to separate the link, okay, between the picture and this second tag. So let's save this and see what happens. So let's just run this in Google Chrome. So this is what the page looks like. Let's refresh. Okay, you'll now see I've got page3 here. Okay, and when I click this, okay, it goes to this page3. Okay, and this is how the page3 looks that I've just created. Okay, and I'll just press back and it goes back to the page. So that's effectively a couple of really useful attribute tags. Key ones being ones that you use for pictures, src, and then obviously you use these other attributes, width and height, when you use pictures, so to allow you to do the size of picture, and then the linking tags, hyperlinking tags, external links, which is for obviously web pages outside your own web page, and then internal links, as long as you get the naming convention correct. Right, so now let's take a look at the last point. So with colors on your web page, there's a number of different ways to do this. The most simplest way to just add some color to the page is, first of all, go to the body tag on top of near the beginning of your page, press a space, and then you use this. Okay, now you need to use this style equals background color, and then you can more or less choose what colors you want to use. Now I'm going to put just write blue, okay, and I'll show you. It actually will suggest the color here that it should work. So I'll just put blue. Let's just press save for now and then run the page, see what happens. You'll see it changes the whole page to a dark blue. So this is one way to do this, but there's actually loads of different colors that you can choose from. Most of the time, if you want some kind of standardized color, you can usually type this in there, for example, orange, black, white, red. But there's also another way to do this. And the other way is to more or less go to different types of color options. And you can use something called what they call a hexadecimal code. So for example, here, this web page I'm using, which I usually have this as just a quick reference, the link will appear in the video and on my notes, but you can see you've got this HTML color codes. Okay, so what you can do if you really want to kind of experiment with using a color, you have this kind of chart on this web page. So let's just choose one here. Let's choose this, maybe this light green. Okay, and then you'll see you get the hexadecimal code up the top here. Okay, and what you can do is to simply copy the number. Okay, it always starts with a hash. Okay, and then you go back to your link. Okay, and you just delete where it says blue, and you put the hexadecimal color. Okay, let's make sure there's no space there. Okay, and then let's just delete there, press save and refresh my browser. Okay, and now you'll see it's changed to green. Now with colors, apart from just changing background colors, you can also use the same principle to add colors within things like headings or your paragraph. And the principle is much the same, to be honest. What you can do is just, I'm going to copy the text here, which I've used for the background color. Okay, this will save me having to type. And what I'll show you is if you go to the heading tag and go in between the H1 part here and press paste. Okay, I can then do exactly the same process and change the color of this heading. Now, I'm not going to use the same color. I'm just going to use something where you can see this working. So I'm just going to choose a standard color, which is red. Okay, and then press save. Okay, and then refresh my screen, and then we should see this first heading change also. There you go. So this is another way to add different colors. So that completes the second video. And now hopefully you've got a better understanding how to create a very simple page and change some things such as the headings, add text, colors, and internal and external hyperlinks. In the next video, okay, part 3, I'm going to introduce how to use tables, talk a bit about semantic tags, lists, and then embedding. So this will be in the next video that's following after this.